Noah here for American Trucks, and we're going to check out these Pro Series Mark II 2500 style halogen projector headlights with alpha black housings and clear lenses fitting the 2019 and newer Ram 1500 with the factory halogen headlights. And these headlights are going to be perfect for the 1500 Ram that wants the 2500 style headlight and some improved visibility without breaking the bank. One of the huge reasons people go with aftermarket headlights is the LED daytime running lights, and that's where I'm going to start with these guys. They actually have an LED daytime running light around the top and bottom here in an eyelid style around the projectors, and they really grab your attention and give the truck a more modern touch. And they're also going to make you more visible to other drivers on the road, especially a distracted one, which is always a good thing. Now, those dual projectors here in the center of everything going on will work with your factory halogen bulbs, and together you've got an intense lighting combo that's going to make the most of your factory bulb, and it's sure to shine clear and really far in pretty much any driving condition. Then the housings themselves are alpha black for an upgraded dark look overall, while still retaining that clear lens for absolute maximum brightness, since they don't dim the light output like a smoked lens would. If you want to make these guys even brighter, you can always grab a set of drop-in LED bulbs off our site while you're at it, and the projectors with some LED bulbs would be pretty intense. Last but not least, these do have a sequential turn signal as well, which is really going to grab you some attention. Not only do these headlights look the part, but they're built to last as well. Now, as far as construction goes, we've got polypropylene housings for some serious defense against the elements. Then on the inside, there are those projector lenses, which are designed to intensify the light beam as well as cast it farther in front of your truck, rather than spread short and wide like a set of LED bulbs in a factory halogen non-projector headlight. Then sealing everything shut, we have a polycarbonate lens that's excellent impact resistance for whatever might get chucked at your truck, whether on the trail or on the highway. They're also backed by a lifetime warranty, so you know there's pride in the construction and there's no need to worry about your purchase in the event of manufacturing defects. In terms of price, these guys are going to fall around $780. Now, I'd say they're right around the middle of the price range in terms of upgraded headlights with LED daytime running lights for your Ram. Now, these will not be the brightest and most expensive headlights ever because they don't come with LEDs in the projectors, and I think the price does reflect that fairly. Sticking with halogen bulbs can still be really effective, and it sure does cut the cost in comparison. Installing this set of headlights on your Ram was going to take you about an hour to do at home with no tool throwing, and this job should come simple to anybody. We're looking at an install difficulty of 1 out of 3 wrenches, just about as easy as it gets. Let's head over to the shop and get these guys installed on our 1500.
Tools required for this install include a ratchet, a clip remover tool, a fuse tap, wire strippers and crimpers, a pair of scissors or diagonal cutters, T25 Torx driver, a 10mm ratcheting S-wrench, 8 and 10mm sockets, some zip ties, and a couple microfiber towels. What's up, guys? Today we're installing a set of headlights on our Ram. First, we're going to watch a quick little uninstall video for removing your stock headlights, and I'll meet you right back here for the install.
So for this install, you're going to need to pop your hood, remove your upper rad cover, the grill, and some of the surrounding trim. It's a pretty simple process. I'm going to walk you through the whole thing. So let's get started. So we're going to start by removing our upper rad cover. There's a bunch of plastic clips that need to be removed, so I'm going to use my plastic clip removal tool and pop the heads of them open. And then once I get those all removed, I can pull the panel off. And we're gonna pull this panel right off. The next piece we need to remove is the headlight trim and grille trim here on the top of the vehicle. It's a combination of a pop clip and 10mm screws. So I'm gonna use my clip tool once again and a 10mm socket to pull all of these out, and then I can just remove this piece from the vehicle. Next, I'm gonna use my 8mm socket to remove some of the screws here on the inner wheel well and pull the liner back to expose a little bit more hardware that's hiding behind the liner so I can get this panel off that surrounds the headlight. So now that I have the liner pulled back, I've exposed this 10mm bolt here inside the wheel well liner, and I'm going to use my 10mm on a ratchet and just pull that out. Now I'll just repeat this process on the other side. Next, I'm going to need to remove my grill. There are 3 10mm bolts at the bottom of either side of the grill, and there are 4 across the top. I'll just use my 10mm socket on my small impact gun, remove all of those screws, and pull the grill off. So now that I have my grill removed, I can go ahead and start unbolting and unhooking my headlights. I have a clip here at the top as well as a 10mm bolt, and then I have a 10mm bolt here on the side from the fender, and I'll just use my 10mm socket and my clip tool and pull those out, and then I can unhook my headlights. It's a little hard to see, but I'm just gonna unplug my headlight connectors from the back. Just push down on the tabs to release them, and then you can pull the headlight out.
So our first step is to transfer over our lower bracket on our stock headlight to our new one. We have 5 T25 Torx screws that we need to remove, 3 on the bottom and then 1 on each side. And then we can pull our bracket off and transfer it over to our new one. So now we can take a T25 Torx driver to remove our screws. And then we can get the one on the side, as well as the one on the other side. And then with those removed, we can lift our bracket off and put it on our new light. So now we can install our new bracket. We have 2 slots on here that'll line up with these 2. And then once we have that on, we can install our screws. And then we'll get our 3 on the bottom. And then we'll do that same thing for our other headlight. Next, we can set up our wiring harness. Now we have this gray wire that's going to be going to a fuse tap. Now there is no fuse tap included in this kit, so you're going to have to get your own. And then we'll just slide this wire into our fuse tap and use wire crimpers to crimp that down. And now we can get our harness installed on the truck. So now we've got our harness laid out across the engine bay, how it's gonna go. We have a positive and negative wire that is gonna go to our 2 battery terminals, and then we'll get our fuse tap installed into our fuse box. So now the first thing we're gonna do is pop our inline fuse out of place. And we'll put that to the side for now. And then we can loosen up this 10mm nut on our positive terminal with a 10mm socket. And then we can grab our positive, slide that in behind the nut, and tighten it back down. And then we'll do that same thing back at our negative. And then we'll tighten that back down with that same 10mm socket. And then with those installed, we can grab our fuse tap. We'll pinch both of these tabs to pop the cover off of our fuse box. And then we're going to be looking for our F35 fuse, which is this 10 amp right here. Next, we can grab the fuse pullers that are inside of our fuse box and grab onto that fuse. And pull it out. And then we'll install our fuse tap into that same spot. And now the last thing we need to do is go back to our inline fuse and reinstall it. And then we'll clip that cover back down. So now we can run all of our wiring. We have 2 bullet style connectors, one with a shorter wire and one with a longer wire. The longer is going to go over to the passenger side, and the shorter is going to go to our driver side headlight bucket. And then we also have our yellow wire that's going to be going to our driver side headlight bucket. So we'll get these 2 connectors and drop them down into our headlight bucket. And then we'll run our other wire across the core support and over to our passenger side headlight bucket. So to do that, we'll grab a couple zip ties and then use a pair of scissors or diagonal cutters to trim that excess. And we'll run that down into our passenger side headlight bucket and then grab another zip tie. And then we'll do the same thing with the excess on this zip tie. So now we can install our headlight. We have the white wire with that bullet connector that'll connect to our red wire that we just ran. And then we'll plug in our main harness. And then we can slide our headlight into place. And now we can reinstall our 2 bolts. And we'll just line everything up and tighten them down with a 10mm socket. And then we can do that same thing on the other side. Next, we can reinstall our grille as well as our upper trim. So now we can reinstall all of our bolts up top. These longer bolts will go for the grille. And then all of our shorter ones are for the trim. And then we'll tighten all of these down with a 10mm socket. now we'll do that same thing on the other side. And we'll tighten those down with that same 10mm socket. Next, we can install our radiator cover. Next, we can reinstall our 6 push clips up top. And now we'll do that same thing on the other side. Next, we can come to the lower corner of our grill to reinstall our 3 bolts. Shorter ones going on the outside and the 2 longer ones are going towards the inside. Then we can take our 10mm socket to tighten them down. And then with our bolts installed, we can reinstall our cover. And then we'll do that same thing on the other side. Next, we can reinstall that bolt that sits right here. Now it's gonna be hard to see. We'll get it through our hole. Start threading that into place. You can thread that in most of the way by hand. And then I'm gonna be taking this angled ratcheting wrench to tighten that the rest of the way down. And then we can replace our fender liner and reinstall our 3 bolts. Next, we can grab our 8mm socket to tighten these all down. And then we'll do that same thing on the other side. So that'll wrap up this review and install of the Pro Series MK2 2500 style halogen projector headlights with alpha black housing and clear lens for your 2019 and newer Ram 1500 with factory halogen headlights. Thank you for watching, and for all things Ram, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.